Hello everyone, and welcome to a Heist Gone Wrong's first ever Q&A video. This is a milestone video, as we have just recently reached 100 members in our Discord server. This is just the beginning, but it is already very exciting. So without further ado, let's get right into the questions. So the first question is asked by Optional. Hahaha, very clever. Although Tech Wolves also asked this question. Why did you want to make a heist gone wrong? So, back in probably the first part of 2016, I was a game developer and I enjoyed social deduction games, and when I heard of BMG's wrongdoings, I decided that it was my chance to develop a social deduction game. Now, granted, I was initially planning to develop something along the lines of Town of Salem, because quite frankly I didn't know of many alternatives. But around the same time, I was also introduced by my friend to One Night Ultimate Werewolf. And I played this game and I really liked it. And I wanted to play more of it, but couldn't, because the above mentioned friend lived quite a bit of time away from me. And that's why I thought, oh, what if I make an online alternative to One Night Ultimate Werewolf instead of a Town of Salem-led game? And I immediately saw many advantages to this over just cloning Town of Salem. So the two factors that most contributed were me wanting to develop a social deduction game and me wanting to have an online alternative to One Night Ultimate Werewolf to play. Next we have Sam Wasn't Here asking, what is the history of the game, and/or what is the lore of the game story? So speaking about the history, the game actually has a lot of history, and if I was to describe it in detail, it would take a whole new video, and the video would also be longer than most of you all would want to watch. But I can tell you the history of the game is rich. I started developing it at around the spring of 2016, and it became available in the summer for other people to play. Since then, I've been occasionally releasing updates, but never really in active development. And the year of 2017 was mostly known for its many events and not very frequent updates. I think there were only 2 updates maybe during that year, but we've grown very close to each other as a community, but not very many new people joined. And at around that time, we've also had conflicts with the initial art designer of the game and had to take the art out of the game. And then, for a pretty long time, the game had art that looked like this. So the relaunch that happened a few weeks ago was mostly centered around the new art and basically more accessibility for new players. And since then, I'm hoping we're going to be able to grow a lot further than before the art was taken out. As far as lore goes, there is actually lore to the game, and the first place where you would want to look for it is the wiki. Every single role that we have has a lore piece to it, and you can kinda learn something about their backstories, but there's also lore in the game itself, which you unlock by playing ranked games. And you might already have some unlocked depending on how many you played, and they are pretty detailed and provide a lot of background information for the characters. So if you unlocked it but haven't already read it, make sure to read it. It's worth it. The next question is asked by Nuclear Burrito, who is one of our veterans. It states, why did you want to make this game? If someone else also asks this, then use this other question instead. Good, because someone else did already ask it. 2 people, in fact, and I have answered that question before. So, how did you pick the game's theme of a bank heist? This question, by the way, was also asked in a slightly different form by an anonymous person who asked how did the game get its name. So, the theme and the name is actually what the old art director for the game, Tormental, suggested, because initially I approached him with the idea of making a social deduction game, but we had a falling out in 2017, so now it does not use his art anymore. So he suggested the theme of a bank heist, and I thought that it was a pretty good theme, so I decided to just roll with it. Kitty Strider asks, any events you have planned for the future, whether they be gaming or otherwise? Yes, I actually have quite a few events in mind, both gaming and otherwise, that I want to host in the server. Of course, all of them have their own time when it's best to organize them. But yeah, I don't want to reveal too much here, but we are going to have more official gaming events as we go on and as we get more members, as well as other events, including creative competitions like art, music and so forth. All related to Heist, of course. Vodka. Dylan Stone asks, what is the proper width and girth for an original Sonic character's penis? As much as I'd love to answer that, that is not a Heist related question, so it goes in the trash bin of this video. If there even is one, I don't know. I mean, I answered the question by saying that I will not answer this question because it is not Heist related. I guess technically it is an answer, but at the same time... Anyway, moving on. Enternode asks, Ultimate Contest 3 when? So for some background information, the Ultimate Contest was a competition in the old community in Heist Gone Wrong, where the participants had to create informative videos of some aspect of the game. There have been two so far. The first one was about a role, and the participants had to choose between 3 different roles. And the second one was about a setup, and the people had to choose between different setups. Most chose advanced, of course. So, we are probably going to have some sort of a competition like this. I'm not saying when, because I don't know, but stay tuned for it. Best British Child asks, it's shorter than the rest, but when you're happy, you raise it up like it's the best. What is it? Username pending's Music Jam submissions. They don't have to be longer or more complicated than other submissions for some very happy judges to award them first place. Magnasword2 asks, will you add my profile picture to Heist as a customizable avatar? Now, it's not possible and it's not going to be possible for you to just upload an avatar to Heist and use it as a customizable avatar. However, if you create a good pixel art avatar, it might very well be added to the game, and in that case, you can have it for free. CoolAddery18 asks, did you expect this to reach 100 members? I actually did, because I was sure that the way things were going, they were going in a very positive direction, but now that we've passed 100 members, I'm not quite sure where to go from here, because the growth has kinda halted and we need to, other than just inviting all our friends to check out the game and play it, we need to perform some other measures of advertisement, and I have yet to decide what some of those measures will be. Feel free to suggest them if you know of any, like if you know of any good methods of advertising a multiplayer social deduction game, we would love to hear it. Make Urban Veteran. No. Eat my cookies or I'll remove your liver. Of course people have to start asking questions like this that aren't related to Heist. I told you guys, they have to be related to the game. Now granted, these people only submitted these questions because they wanted to be in the video, even if it's somewhat of a negative appearance for them. And I'm kinda giving it to them, but it makes the video funnier, so why not? Screw you guys. The people who submit these unrelated to Heist questions. Screw you. Will there be a Dylan profile picture in the game? Please. I'm assuming Dylan is the one who asked this, but it's anonymous. Well, there are already 2 profile pictures in the game that include Dylan Stone's artwork. They are not publicly available in the shop, but they were, and some people have them, so you might encounter them once in a while. But as I said, if Dylan wants to create some avatars and submit them for us to use, he is more than welcome to. So this question is asked by Literally Trash. When you were reconstructing the game and receiving the new art, what was personally the most difficult part of it all? Now, yes, I was indeed reconstructing the game, and with the art redesign, after the original art designer took his art from the game, there's been a long period of time when the game had art the likes of which you've seen earlier in this video, and obviously it wasn't appealing for anybody. But we have a new art designer right now, Shademus, and yes, while we were reconstructing the game, it was rather a secret process before the release, and the most difficult part of all of it, I would say, was just getting the motivation to do it, because it was hard to believe that it would pay off in the end, because it was evident how hard marketing was, especially for us. And there were moments where I just really didn't want to work on it because I thought of what would the point of it be? And I hoped that things would pay off, and in the end I think the motivation of us caring about the game was enough to finish the reconstruction. And would the payoff that people are interested in playing your game make the difficult task of fixing it worth it? Definitely. I originally started making the game exactly because I wanted to be able to play it and I wanted other people to enjoy it. I have so far gotten $0 from the over 2 years of me working on Heist, but I'm not even complaining. It's been very fun working on the game and interacting with its players. If you describe the game to someone else, would you describe it as yours? I will for sure. It is my baby. I have spent so much time and effort on it, and I am proud to say that it is my game, even though with Heist, it is as much the player's game as it is the developers, unlike some big games like Town of Salem, where the player's feedback often doesn't even matter. I want you guys to know that you matter above all in a Heist Gone Wrong. You guys, the players who play the game, the experienced players who help new players learn the game by explaining things to them. Our moderators, who are all volunteers just like us, but help rid the game of toxicity and help other players learn how to play properly. And I am especially grateful to Shade, the art designer, because if it wasn't for him, the game really wouldn't be in the state that it is right now. And it's not just the artwork. The artwork is great and I'm glad to have it in the game, but it's also that he has often motivated me when I wasn't motivated, and as we worked on the relaunch, our progress has motivated each other to work harder and get to the goal faster. I might not say it a lot, but I appreciate his contributions very much, and I appreciate the contributions of every single person playing a Heist Gone Wrong and helping us improve it so it becomes better and better and we are able to enjoy it with each other more. Here we have Nania Business asking, why did you go with the name A Heist Gone Wrong? You could have gone with Bank Robber Mania or Robber Time, but you chose A Heist Gone Wrong. Did you have any other names in mind you had to choose between, or was it always going to be this name? Now, I already answered how the game got its name, and I think that I went with the name initially because it was just fitting. This setting seemed fitting for this gameplay. And I didn't really have many other names in mind. I wouldn't just name it One Night Ultimate Werewolf Online because there would be copyright issues. And I will note here that Bank Robber Mania sounds like a popular Facebook game based on microtransactions and with no real gameplay. And Robber Time sounds like a crappy game on Congregate or Play Store with gameplay rivaling that of Flappy Bird. Yeah, I think the name A Heist Gone Wrong was just most fitting. Urban for VIP? No. Urban for Veteran? No. Urban for Moderator? No. Urban for Mastermind? No. When are you planning to have a real use for the ELO? I don't know. Obviously I'm referring to the question that Urban asked, when. I do have some ideas of how to use it, but I just don't know when it's going to be implemented. Some of my ideas are competitive lobbies with ELO separation and maybe even tournaments based on the ELO system. Here we have an anonymous person asking, how did you make the game and how do you store the player and game data? I made the game in Construct 2, a game making engine which I have quite a bit of experience with, and the multiplayer system it currently uses is Photon Engine, which transmits the in-game data between players. As far as the registration system and account data, it is stored using Firebase, a database management service operated by Google. Nosbugs, hashtag 6666, asks, or says, the game needs to be named after me. Bugs is in my name. Very funny, but once again, it's not a heist related question. In the trash you go. Dang, I'm not even gonna try here. Dylan Stone asks, will you ever add Shuttle Siege Easter eggs to Heist? I don't see why not. Do you regret involving Torn with Heist? I don't really think so. Tormental was the initial art designer for the game, but he was also a YouTuber, and among his viewer base were many people who were looking for a social deduction game and fed up with Town of Salem, so he did bring quite a few active players. I do regret, however, associating him with Heist as closely as I did. Obviously, I wish I understood sooner that he didn't really want to be involved, and maybe avoided the confrontations. TechWolves asks, what is the VIP rank for? Well, it is a pretty multi-purpose rank. Right now it is for people like former veterans, active contributors, and people who have contributed to the game by other means. LL Stylish, or Zark, asks, what do you think of being called Raging Melon? I think it's not a very accurate description of me, because I hardly ever rage. In fact, I don't remember the last time I raged, really. But I don't mind it too much. It's not like it annoys the crap out of me. It's not like I start raging whenever I hear this meme, because if I did, that would be pretty fitting. Where did you get the inspiration to create this game? I explained it as like one of the first questions in this video. And what do you think about its player base? I like you guys. Pretty damn good player base. And that is going to conclude this Q&A video. Thank you for watching, and if you still have questions that are unanswered, you can ask them in our Discord server, or wait for the next Q&A video, which there will be quite a bit of corresponding to different milestones. Peace out.